Bulut for his introductory remarks. Actually, as Mr. Bulut has emphasized, we really have distinguished speakers who will be sharing with us their knowledge and experiences. With your participation, I'm sure that this meeting is going to be extremely valuable for all of us. Now, without losing further time, I would like to start the technical part of our meeting. We will have Mr. Robert Schultz as the first speaker. Actually, he is the marketing manager of Saint-Gobain, is of Austria GmbH. Actually, he has already joined us on the stage.
Dear ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Thank you very much to be with you. It's a big honor. And thank you very much to all the colleagues from EasyJump to make possible that we can develop a common picture about the future. The challenges are waiting for us. The problem we all have in common is the rising energy prices. Why they are rising? Of course, fossil energy becomes very, very short. And it affects us all in increased energy demand, increased energy prices, of course. It's a threat of our economic growth, of employment rates, and it creates the pollution. It's a global problem, and of course we try to face this problem globally and to give an answer, and this multi-comfort house concept is one of the main answers, especially European Union is focusing on it. Here you see this year 0 and this triangle. This is around the year 2000. It's a very, very short period, and this is excessive use of oil, gas. This is a period where we invented the steam machine. This is a short period of industrial age. And before we were using, of course, wind energy, solar energy, renewable energy. And now we can discuss how long will we still have oil and gas, fossil energy. Did we already reach the peak? Of course we reached the peak. The peak of mining, but also the peak of, of panic. And there is no doubt we will not find enough oil and will not have it forever. It's only what we can discuss is how long we will have it. 30 years, 50 years, but still our demand is growing. So it is a fact and reality, we will not have it. And when we look at the traffic today, we neglect this effect. But it's true, we have to come back to a new era of renewable energy as we had before. This is the biggest challenge we are facing because it's economic, it's social, all our behavior worldwide we have with our resources to transmit and to come to our sustainable development. That means business as usual, close our eyes and just continue as nothing will happen is impossible. We cannot every week open a new coal mine in China or whatever and pollute our earth. This is not possible. But what's today already possible, and you're architects, designers, investors, you are in the business of buildings. We need our homes. It's a very fundamental need. We need the comfort. And in this area especially, we have the biggest chance to use energy efficiency. So what's today possible? Today it's possible already to make buildings very compact. All our buildings are more or less compact, so it's not a limit in creativity in architecture. Then, of course, to turn it to the south, the main windows, what we're already doing. In southern area, of course, we need some outside shading. But in winter, we take profit of the solar gains. We build it without thermal bridges. And we heat it with our own bodies. And it is passive, no active heating, just maybe a little help, just to tune the comfort, but not just to heat because there is no insulation, just to heat because there are single glazing windows, just to heat because there are leakages and the building envelope is not airtight. So this is a very, very simple concept. We could already have done it 50 years ago because it's low tech, we can touch it. In every computer, in every handy, it's more technology than in just a simple passive or multi-comfort house. And it's proven, it works, even on an altitude of 2,150 meters in the Alps. A complete sustainable building. Again, you see compact building body, orientations to the south, photovoltaic, wind energy when no sun is shining. And this complete energy autark building, it's one building. It can be a village, it can be a city, and it can be in the most part of climatic zones all over the world. So this is not only a vision, it's a demand. We must do it. And the European Union committed it till 2020, said we should build only nearly zero energy buildings. So also politicians are aware of this problem. Why? Why is they so aware of this problem? Here you see the energy consumption in Europe, in European Union. In blue, for example, it's oil. In green, this is the energy not used. This is the energy already saved. So energy efficiency, and you see energy efficiency is the biggest source, already bigger than the oil used. So energy efficiency is the biggest source and the biggest chance. But still, you see, our consumption in energy is increasing. What we need is a dramatic turnaround. So to minimize our fossil energy consumption and in the future replace it by solar energy, hydrothermic, wind energy, whatever. Which is not so easy because we cannot store it. But as better we are in energy efficiency, as easier will it be to solve this complexity of renewable energy. Yeah. Where do we use this energy in Europe? 28% you see industry, transport 32%, and the building 40%. Now, energy is already very expensive, so it's economic factor. Industry tries to reduce energy as much as possible. And we are happy that still in Europe we have some industry productions, that we have workplaces. So the potential for the future is limited. Now, when we go to transport, individual transport, everyone likes to have a car. We live longer, even pensionists, longer drives, second car in the family. Politically, it's very, very difficult to reduce this freedom of individual traffic in the traffic jam, some privacy, listening to the radio. So we are crazy, we know, but it's not so easy to reduce here. But in the building sector, it is possible. 78%, 80%, 90%. It depends on the study, it depends on the country, on the climatic zone. But not 5%, 10%, no. 2/4 or 80% we can save with one measure, with one investment. We do it once for the lifetime of the building. Now, of course, you may say, my customer, okay, it's the global picture, it's European Union. What is my personal benefit? What is with my single house or my single apartment? We see that hot water, 11.5% we use, household facilities also 11-12%, light only 1.5%. So it's nice when the teacher in the school says to the children, okay, change your lamps to low energy lamps. It's okay also from the pedagogic point of view. But people think, okay, I changed the lamps, I did all what I could do to save the world's energy. So this is misleading. The biggest potential we have is the heating. And when we go to passive house level, or even further, you see For heating or for cooling, we need not more energy than for hot water. So we come in the range, and we will see some passive houses where you have per year 200 euro energy bills. So for the energy supplier, it becomes too expensive to write the invoice already. So it's not only ecological or energy or economical revolution, it's also a social revolution, because we come to a decentralized system where not one big company or state-owned has the power. It's a kind of democratization also in this area. So this is one of the most important picture, because this everyone can do, and everyone has to decide, okay, I made a renovation just here, it's enough, it's already 20%, it's good. But with a limited renovation, I come down with energy consumption. But then I block for the next 30, 40 years, because, okay, it's already good, but not as good as it could be. So I have to wait for the next renovation circle. If then the windows are old enough, the heating system old enough, then it's economically feasible to make against a big change. So if you renovate, just wait, save money, and do it then at once and already perfectly to passive house level. Okay, you see, in the regulations, a lot of all building stock, we need 300 kilowatt hours per square meter a year. 300 kilowatt hours per square meter is just to heat or to cool 1 square meter, 30 liters oil or 30 cubic meters gas. It might be 10 times the volume of the room or 10 times the volume of the building which we heat every year. And not only one house, and not only Istanbul, and not only New York, the whole world. So you see, the regulation historically came better to an energy saving house, low energy house, passive house. But we don't stick to the regulation. The regulation always is the minimum requirements. What can we do as intelligent people thinking on the future already with today's technology, go already to the best level? And you will see also from the presentation of architect Ingrid Meisinger that it's today technology. It's a simple technology. 40 years before we flew to the moon. So we could have already passive houses 40 years ago. So with this little energy consumption, of course, then renewable energy fits very well. Then it can work together. Yeah, the principle is simple. We're not heating the environment, it's well insulated, we put on the anorak to our building, keep it warm, the little energy we need, we produce ourselves. So a passive house, or let's say an energy efficient house, an active house, whatever, it's not only the names, a passive house or multi-comfort house, in thermographic we will not see. This is the houses today, we are heating the environment. You see, you cannot say, okay, here is a thermal bridge or here is a thermal bridge. The whole building is a thermal bridge. After renovation, okay, still it's not perfect. You see some weak points, but the concept is clear where we have to go. Okay, I always said it's simple. What are now the main elements? I'm sure you already know, and the students from the contest put it in an excellent way. Look at the presentations, how to do it. First is compact building form, not to have cooling ribs or something else. Have excellent insulation, U value, without thermal bridges, have it airtight, have triple glazing windows. Self-evident elements, so it's nothing new, nothing exotic in this way. And for hygienic reason, we have to open the window every 2 hours. Okay, in summer it's not a problem, or in spring and autumn, but in winter, the energy, the warm air we preserve, then we have to ventilate out, fresh cool air is coming in. So a lot of energy goes out. Better solution is to have a controlled ventilation system with a heat exchanger to preheat the fresh air coming in. So this is one obstacle for people, okay, oh, can I open the window or can I not open the window? It's a dramatic discussion and some mystic fears. So, I say to the people, when you drive your car, you put on your ventilation system. There's always fresh air. No one is putting off ventilation system, driving, oh, I get tired, I have to open ventilation and close again and drive again. But people say, no, I don't want the ventilation system, and then they have to open always a window. If they don't open, they have a dramatic bad air with a high concentration of CO2. We have it especially in schools. Children cannot concentrate. In night we cannot recover from day stress, we cannot sleep. So, in fact, this ventilation system is to keep the temperature, but to have filtered air without mosquitoes, night ventilation, and always fresh air with low CO2 content. The temperature I feel, I don't need a thermometer, but the CO2 content I don't feel. We have no sensors, so we get tired and so on. We need this fresh air. Yeah. Okay, then we can, of course, the fresh air, we can put it in the ground, we can pre-cool in summer, we can preheat in winter, all combinations to keep the temperature cool. We have to emphasize more the coolness, because in passive houses we have enough energy to keep it warm. But to keep it cool in summer, might be a little more difficult. And if people pay 50 euros more than calculated a year, 50 euros more a year, okay, no one cares. But if it starts to be hot, that is a problem. So if you're architect and you make your first passive houses, most important is outside shading, pre-cooling, because it's direct link to the personal comfort. Okay, now here you see it's a sleeping room. It's a sleeping room in Germany, and in the week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, in the night, the CO2 concentration goes very high. On the weekend, even higher, because they have more activities in the sleeping room. But with the ventilation system, they have always fresh air. So they're always in the hygienic range of this Konfor 1000 ppm. I will show in my second presentation, I have my passive house apartment made, and I have a measurement of this CO2. Okay, this is an old house, no protection, needs a lot of energy to keep warm. This is according to minimum standards. This is an energy-saving house, and here is a passive house, compact building form, well insulated, no thermal bridges, minimum on energy consumption. And this is a benefit: 30 liters oil or 30 cubic meters gas per square meter, or only 1.5. It's a big difference, big dimension. Now, let's scan such a passive house and see what's behind. This is maybe a normal house with 150 kilowatt hours per square meter in year, 50 cubic meters gas. We have the transmission losses in blue, so the energy passes through the walls, the windows. And we need fresh air. We have energy losses by opening the windows, by the ventilation. Then we have the passive solar gain through the windows, south orientation. We have internal sources. You are heating now this space, this hall, everyone around 80 watt. And the difference, the delta, normally we are used to heat, because oil gas was very cheap. In a passive house or multi-comfort house, we just put the anorak to the building, once put on the insulation, once put on the triple glazing, outside shading, and still we need fresh air. We have the same solar gains, we have the same internal sources, but with the ventilation system and heat recovery, we take a lot of energy out of the warm air going out, so that just we have a little demand for heating and cooling. Just to tune, oh, I want to have 23 degree, 22 degree, 24, 21 degree, just to tune the comfort, but not to heat, to compensate a a bad planning or construction mistakes. Okay, and you see the benefit also in CO2 and oil or gas consumption. So we make our national economies free of oil gas imports. So it remains more money in the country for schools, for education, for pensions, for elderly people, for renewable sources, if not to fight for the last drop of oil in the desert sand. So it's a win-win situation for everyone. Yeah. Very often we blame the politicians as high as the level, as more abstract they are acting. But we have seen this situation in Europe that there is no way we cannot import. From whom should we import in 20 years oil or gas? So Europe has to become energy independent. And the politician says we have to decouple, disconnect the energy consumption from our national economies. But we have learned, okay, use more material, consume more, then the economic growth, that means welfare. We have to learn that we have a quality growth, using less energy, using less resources, but having more comfort, more social welfare. This is the task for the future we have. Yeah, EPBDs is regulations. Now, European Union says also till 2020 the member states should only build nearly zero energy buildings. This is a sensation. This is excellent. Because we can say Kyoto Protocol, we do not reach so really, then also climate conferences, Copenhagen, just a little paper, but no actions. Here there is an action. Politician says, okay, this is a level, but we are not allowed to make now a mistake, to say, okay, will not be so strict, how can we avoid it? No, it's a clear target, it's a challenge, and it helps us to protect. This is excellent, and we should not weaken this concept. It's a chance for every architect to create special know-how, to be USB, and it's for all builders and the comfort for the private person. How quickly it will change, because General Manager Nouri also showed you the way from D to C class or go up. This is, for example, refrigerators in year 1992. So people bought D, E class of refrigerator because they didn't know what is the consumption of electricity for my fridge. But with this labeling, people, oh, there is something better. Look, I can compare. For the same money, I get A class now. And you see, in 10 years, you only can sell A or B class refrigerators. That means for an architect, okay, today you can build D, C class, but in 10 years, it will be impossible also for investors to sell because, oh no, okay, today I can afford, but when I'm older or in pension, I cannot pay. It's too expensive. So it changes the whole market of the real estate. Okay. So, just one simple renovation example, an old bungalow from the 1960s or 70s. Everyone was proud to have a big tank of gas oil. Look, I am energy independent. I was very proud. Today, they would be proud to have some solar panels and not depending on gas or oil. So, in a passive house, we don't need a conventional heating system. Then we can save money, we don't need a chimney. And of course the family said, okay, we need more space, we want to live more modern. So with an architect they changed the functionality of the house. Then with prefabricated elements, and you see the outer wall, 0.1 U value, roof 0.09, all in the range of 0.1. In the morning when the neighbors passed, okay, it's this ugly ruin, but when they come back in the evening, they say, oh, I missed the way because, oh, it's a wonderful, nice house. Okay, it was not the cheapest solution, it was also a research project, but we see compact building form, orientation to the south, outside shading lamellas, and we have also some photovoltaic elements. So it looks nice, it's not ugly, and it's highly, highly sustainable. This is the kitchen, so fresh air coming in, and exhaust air goes out here. And before it was used 45 cubic meters of insulation material. After renovation, 125 cubic meters. Now, how ecological or sustainable is our mineral wool production, glass wool, stone wool production? So, out of 1 cubic meter raw material, we make 150 cubic meters lightweight glass wool. So out of 1 cubic meter recycled glass and sand, we can more insulate than this one family house. So also in production, this is very, very efficient. And this is the gas volume for this small house you saw before, heated and cooled in 1 year. Before renovation, and this is after. So 3 times the volume of the building just to heat. This is the catastrophe we have everywhere. And this is now responsible for climate change. Yes, before to heat 2,700 euro for the whole building. Afterwards, and the building is even bigger, 200 square meter, 200 euro. So 1 euro heating cost for 1 square meter in the year. So if energy prices would double, it's not a problem. Okay, this is an old slide, but I keep it because it's from Czech Republic, and this is the evolution of the average income, what people earn on money. And here you see the evolution of the energy price. So the question is, when I'm old in pension, still can we afford to have a nice warm home? So it is also an investment in our elderly becoming society. Now, maybe this is one of the simplest slides, but the most important because for me it's a question why it is so difficult to change this behavior. So in Austria in the past we had just without insulation a wall, single glazing windows, maybe double glazing windows, but not so good. We want to have an inner temperature of 22 degrees and outside with minus 10 degrees. So what we have and what we feel when we go to the window, oh, there is a cold air draft coming down. It's not a comfort. Why? Because the surface temperature is too low. So it can be mold growth, condensation, and it's a lot of circulation, so we don't feel comfortable. And we feel the draft going down, and we have a cold lake on the air. And to compensate it, what we are doing, we fix a heating system just to compensate it. So, one mistake, not insulated, only single glazing, not airtight. With permanent costs and pollution, we heat against, but of course, as you've seen before, in fact, mostly we heat the environment. This is problematic. And we have a red hat, it's hot, but still at the legs it's cold. There are no homogeneous conditions. This is a problem. The solution is very, very simple. Just triple glazing without thermal bridges and insulation outside. Not 5 centimeters, 10 centimeters, because insulation does not cost. The fixation and so on also does not cost. So it's a workmanship, it's a rendering system. This is expensive. But as more as insulate, as more I get money back. But mentally, it's so difficult to make this little step and this change. People say, oh, I have a heavy old brick wall, for example. But no insulation, I don't want to be too big, so that it makes small, and so it's a completely reversed situation. And even engineers say, okay, how should we fix 20-25 centimeters insulation? I will show you how I did it in my apartment, also from the inside. So this is the biggest obstacle, only emotional. But for us, it's normal. Oh, we build pipelines through Asia, we have all these accidents and pollution, and we make war. This we learned. No one is asking, oh, what is my payback? what are the real costs. But here, it's so complicated. No, we don't know. Don't exaggerate. We have, you see what's happening, and then we pay. That's why I say, first we have to build in our head, and then on construction side, it's very, very simple. Okay, you see, there are solutions in massive, in lightweight, all is possible. For the roof, flat roof, pitched roof, nothing new. So, just for the hot countries. But not only for hot countries, summers are becoming more hot also in Vienna, but not only for 3 days, then for 2 weeks or 1 month. So the temperature never goes down. We have a lot of concrete also in the city of Vienna, so that it's an island of heat. The temperature is 2 degrees higher than in the Vienna woods. So night ventilation doesn't work because during the day it's too much heat, and in the night the temperature doesn't go down below 20 degrees. So what we can do also to have it, especially in summer, a nice indoor climate. This is not the solution and not the way of architecture just to force in this electricity energy consuming. This is a facade of the Energy Research Institute in Shanghai, so whenever they have a problem in Konfor, they put one more of these systems. I have no simulations for Turkey, but I made some years ago with Passivhaus Institute with Jürgen Schnieders for the Mediterranean area, some simulations. We could not get any data about energy consumption, what was real. No one knows what is heating, what is cooling. So we made some simulations, and we looked at Porto, we looked at Madrid, and for the hottest spot, Sevilla. So let's look at Sevilla. You see, red is heating, and blue is already cooling demand. So even in Sevilla, the heating demand is much higher. The simulation was made with end of a row house building, so it could stand everywhere. It's a normal representative building in this way. And here you see without insulation. The blue is the ambient temperature outside. It goes far over 30 degrees, and also inside it's much too hot, and hardly it goes down to a agreeable level, down to 22, 23 or 24 degrees. If we look with insulation, you see outside temperature very high still, but with outside shading during the day and night cooling, night ventilation, we can smoothen it. But of course in Sevilla it accumulates, so it becomes too hot to warm inside. Of course in Sevilla we would need some cooling to smoothen it, but just a little and not like here. So especially in hot countries, this airtight passive house concept has a big advantage. So I think I have to be a little quicker. Just go here to the costs, because this is, yes, it's nice, it's good, but no one will pay, it's too expensive. So give me 5 minutes more just to look at the economic point of view. As better the building is in energy efficiency, as higher the investment costs. If I go to a zero energy building, of course, it becomes very hard. But when I go to a passive house to 15 kilowatt hours per square meter a year, then I don't need a heating system. I save a lot of money. I go down. So it becomes cheaper. Then I have less running heating costs. As better, there are less running heating costs. If I sum up, I add those two costs, I come to a picture of total costs, capitalized costs, like this. So, of course we can discuss what was the real cost, but what is important is a very flat curve, you see? Now you can say, okay, I don't need a passive house, a low energy house is enough, just 50 kilowatt hours per square meter. Why to go here to passive house? Or just here to cheaper in this way? Yes, because it's very flat. And the energy prices will rise or we will not have energy. So here, for the same money, I'm on the safe side for the future. My house for the children later still has the value, still have low energy cost. If I'm in pension with small pension, I still can afford it. This is most important. The other way is, I have here the time scale and here's the money. These are my investment costs for every house. Now, and here I add the heating cost, for example. I can say, okay, I put some additional system, unfortunately, there happened something. Okay, I have initial cost for the passive house, and I have lower running heating cost, you see? So, less investment cost, high heating cost. High investment cost, lower heating cost. It's more or less the same. So, important is for the people, what is my monthly salary? What can I take on credit, pay back? This is important. It's not important, for example, yes, what is important later? After 20 years, when I paid all back, with a normal house I have high energy costs, or I have low energy costs. But important is, it's not important if I pay 1 year more or less, because it's very cheap. Sorry, here it went down, it should be up, I don't know why, but it's some electronic, what I cannot control. It's more complicated than a passive house, I told you. Okay, another way to consider it, to summarize, Nuri Bulut already showed this slide. Okay, I have a low energy house, and now what does the additional cost to make a passive house? Oh, it becomes expensive. Now let's reverse it. We have a nice passive house, and now let's save money and make it just a low energy house. Can we save money? Okay, first in a passive house, I said compact building form. When we make a low energy house, not compact, we don't save money. It costs even more. Then we have the insulation. Okay, less insulation, I don't save money because insulation brings me money. So to make a passive house, low energy house, I save no money. It costs money. Then I can go to the builder and say, oh, please make it cheaper. Build some thermal bridges inside. People say, no, I cannot build some thermal bridges inside because I wrap the whole building with insulation material. It's simple. It's without thermal bridges. Then I can say, okay, please make it cheaper. Make it not airtight. The builder will say, oh, if I don't make it airtight, I have condensation in the construction. I have damage. I will not do. So you see, from passive house to low energy house, if we downgrade it, we cannot save money. Of course, then we can say, not orientation to the south. No, we will do. Of course, we have higher cost for triple glazing, but we don't need a heating system. We do it with ventilation system. So, to make a passive house a low energy house, more or less, it is really the same cost. Okay. Now, to summarize, here you see, this is the gas bubbles. This gas sources still we have in Europe. Today, in 15, 20 years, Europe has no gas. We are 100% depending outside. That's why European Union says, till 2020, we have to be more or less independent with our own local sources. It's reality. Because, oh no, it will not come, no. It's like, oh, we will have no cars here. No one is changing his behavior. So, you see the growth of passive houses in Austria. All types, you see schools, you see administration buildings. It's like we built to run away out of this trap, having no energy. And all types, so Ingrid will show you 3 types of passive houses, a school, residential building, all is possible, even an atelier. And this is the apartments in Austria, and this is market share. So already today, 25% of all apartments are made on passive house level. So, and people say, oh, I can buy a passive house apartment? Why should I buy something worse? I can buy a refrigerator, A+ class. Why should I buy a B or C class? The market already has changed. Even a lot of people say, oh no, I don't need all of that. So, sorry, it's 5 minutes too much, but thank you very much for your attention. I wanted to motivate you in this direction and to see what we have to face and how we can develop our common picture for the future. It's a big chance for builders, as you see. Industry cannot manage, traffic cannot manage, but building, it's a very, very fundamental need to live in comfort. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Robert Shields. Çok teşekkür ediyoruz konuşmacımıza ama tabii öğleden sonra bir kez daha dinleme imkanı bulacağız kendisini. O yüzden kısa bir ayrılık bu. Şimdi
from him. Now
uluslararası çapta ödülleri olan çok kıymetli
we have a very distinguished